Today's episode is brought to you by Modern Grower. Modern Grower is your source for time and labor-saving farm tools, such as the Paper Pot Transplanter, Quick Click Seeder, and the Jang Direct Seeder. Turn laborsome tasks into free time with tools by Modern Grower. So for something that people view as, I'll just say dumb, right? Like it's a plant. It's not doing, I mean, I know it's not a plant, but it's like you see it there, the fruiting body above ground, it's just sitting there. There's an extreme amount of complexity happening below surface or within wood that we
Yeah,
can't see. And just hearing that mycelium fighting it out over some
exactly.
wood and all this
Well,
strategy.
if this is a porcini, so if you're lucky enough to walk in our beautiful pine forest here in California at the right time of year and see a beautiful porcini mushroom standing up, that mushroom is not the individual. That mushroom is just the apple on the apple tree. That mushroom is just the sexual reproducing structure of the individual that produced it. The individual that produced it is all of that mycelium that is growing in the soil that you so love to talk about so much. It's growing in the soil. And since this is an ectotrophic or a mycorrhizal species of mushrooms, that mycelium is connected to the roots of the pine trees. Now, it may be connected to the roots of a single pine tree, or it may grow through the ground and connect to another pine tree. It may connect to a number of different pine trees. That mycelium is pretty extensive under there. And all that stuff that's happening underground, all that chemical communication between the mycelium of the porcini and the pine trees, basically stealing some of the sugars from the pine trees and some other chemicals and nutrients from the pine trees. And in return, the tree is basically stealing water from the mushroom. Those pine roots are completely covered with mycelium of ectotrophic mushrooms. A pine root, except when that pine root is first growing, is first coming out as a new little rootlet off of these roots, is it uncovered? It acts like a root hair. Basically, it gets covered immediately with the mycelium of an associated fungus. And let's say in our example, this is a porcini. And so that root has no access to the minerals in the ground or the water or anything. The fungus does. So all that mycelium is underground there is absorbing nutrients, minerals from the soil, water from the soil, and it's shuttling those to the pine roots through that mycelium. And in return, that close communication, the mycelium grows around those roots, and little bits of it can form what's called a little heartic net. It goes between the root cells as well. And it's that interface between these mycelial cells connected to the roots and in the roots where you have this exchange of the water and minerals from the fungus and the sugar from the plant. And so all of that is happening under your feet. You can't see that at all. And then that mycelium is also competing with other mycelium for access to the roots. Some of these mushrooms can actually have enzymes that are the same enzymes that saprotrophic species have. So they can actually do a little decomposition of some of the dead matter there as well. So they're also absorbing some nutrients from that. So all of this kind of stuff is happening underground. And then we're just lucky enough to that fungus decided, well, I'm going to, leave some offspring and form a beautiful little mushroom. So that mycelium is shuttling all these nutrients into a little primordium that started, and then really rapidly it's shuttling a lot of water and more nutrients in it to get that little primordium to grow into that nice big porcini that we so love to collect and eat. So yeah, it's a tremendous amount of stuff. So if you think about that stuff, and then all the interactions between that plant itself, that tree itself is not there's no such thing as an individual tree. It's a community, like we are communities. There's no organism out there that is not a community. And we got this in our heads a long time ago that we're all individuals, and that's an individual tree, that's an individual flower, etc. That's not true. All those trees have endophytic fungi living inside the leaves, up to 100 species in certain species of trees. And then you have all these fungi associated with the roots. A Douglas fir tree can have over 100 different species of mushrooms associated with its roots. And on and on and on. So and then you have the bacteria and all the other kind of stuff that are all living in some hopefully harmonious phase that allows the success of what we call an individual, which is actually a community. And that's with your body as well.
You use the word steals there, and you seem like
Ah,
an
yeah,
intentional guy. Is
yeah.
it an exchange or is it stealing?
Well, we like to often think that these things are all mutualistic, that the tree, oh, thank you for being there on my roots and giving me the water and the sugars, etc. And then the waters in the minerals. And the fungus says, oh, thank you. I have a nice little benign relationship with the tree here, and you're going to just give me some sugars in exchange. And they happily sit there and talk to each other, etc. It's much like I conceive of it much like the antagonism you see between saprotrophic fungi looking for their resources. You have the same sort of interactions between the mycorrhiza fungi and their hosts. The tree has water. The tree is it has sugars. It sends those sugars and stores a lot of those sugars down in the roots, and it's not disadvantageous if there is some other organism taking some of those sugars away from the tree. That's the fungus. Is the tree actively giving those sugars to the fungus, or is the fungus actively uptaking those sugars, stealing them from the tree? I would say that the fungus is more grabbing what it can get, and that the tree would reluctantly give them, but in exchange, the tree, because of diffusion across these cells, water can transport from one area to another, basically the basic principles of diffusion, and the tree gets water in exchange with its solubilized minerals, etc. So there whether it's a benign, helpful interchange between the fungus and the mycorrhizal tree, or whether it's more I'll get what I can from you, and you'll get what you can from me, sort of an interchange. It seems to work. And the fungus on occasion will feed on when the roots get a little old and die, the fungus can feed on them. So is that now still a mutualist? So that, again, that fine line between a pathogen and a mutualist, or a pathogen and a saprotroph, it's a flexible line.
Today's episode is brought to you by Modern Grower, a proud retailer of the Sumi Soaker system. The Sumi Soaker system is an irrigation game changer. It offers multiple advantages for market gardeners. Even gentle watering without dry spots common with wobblers. The system is lightweight and portable, so you can use it with quick rotation crops. It's low maintenance with no parts to break or clog. It's versatile. You can use it for direct seeding, transplants, and cover crops. And it's very cost effective compared to overhead options. And maybe one of its best and most unique features is it can put down water in a rectangular pattern, which is very different than rotating sprinklers that leave circular patterns, often with dry corners and overwatered centers. If you want to learn more about the Sumi Soaker system, use the link below or visit us at shop.moderngrower.co.